One feels relief. The other barely notices. Same amount. Completely different reaction. $1,000 lands in your account. No warning. No strings attached. For some people, that number feels serious. For others, it barely registers. That difference didn't start today. It started a long time ago. Money isn't just currency. It's exposure. If you grew up in a house where money was tight, you remember it. You remember the pause before buying something small. You remember hearing, "Not right now." You remember watching things get put back on the shelf. That feeling sticks. Even if your income changes later, that memory doesn't. On the other side, if you grew up where bills were paid without visible stress, money feels different. There was food. There were trips. There was margin. You might not even remember conversations about money. And that silence shapes you too. Now imagine two adults. One grew up in a house where saving was automatic. Every extra dollar had a place. The other grew up watching opportunities pass by. Field trips skipped. Vacations declined. Maybe next year became normal. They meet later in life. They build something together. Then one day, they get a small windfall. Not life-changing, just noticeable. The saver opens their banking app almost immediately. They feel responsible. The other starts thinking about what's been missing, replacing something old, doing something they've put off. Nothing dramatic happens, but the room shifts. No one's arguing, but both feel misunderstood. This is where money stops being logical. The saver isn't being rigid. They're protecting stability. The spender isn't being careless. They're correcting something that used to be missing. That's the part no one says out loud. For someone who grew up without, money can feel temporary, like it might disappear if you don't use it. There's a quiet thought underneath it. If I don't enjoy this now, when will I? That's not greed. That's memory. And for someone who grew up with security, money often feels renewable. It comes, it goes, it returns. So smaller amounts don't feel urgent. Neither person is wrong. They're just calibrated differently. Here's something subtle. If the largest amount of money you ever saw growing up was around $1,000, that number becomes psychologically large. It becomes a reference point. Anything close to it feels heavy, important, serious. But if you grew up seeing 5-figure numbers regularly, your scale shifts. 4 figures shrink. This doesn't feel like a theory. It feels like instinct. It's why someone can say it's just $1,000, and someone else feels tension hearing that. Here's another quiet moment. A young professional gets an unexpected $1,000 bonus. To one person, it's just nice. Maybe it gets invested. Maybe it sits untouched. There's no emotional spike. Across town, someone else gets the same amount. They immediately start dividing it up. Bills, groceries, something they've been putting off. There's relief. But right behind it, there's anxiety. How long will this last? That question explains everything. Scarcity creates urgency, but extreme wealth creates distortion too. When you're used to larger numbers, smaller ones lose impact. Not because they're useless, but because they don't change your day. So something strange happens. On one end, money feels too big. On the other, it feels too small. Both lose proportion. One treats money like a solution to everything. The other treats it like background noise. And most people fall somewhere in between. There's a moment a lot of adults experience. They receive money and immediately feel pulled in a direction. Spend it, save it, use it now, hold on to it. It doesn't feel like a choice. It feels obvious. But it was learned. That same couple from earlier eventually sits down and talks. The saver admits something uncomfortable. I'm afraid of going backward. The spender admits something just as uncomfortable. I'm afraid of missing out again. Now it's not about the couch or the trip. It's about what money represents. Safety, freedom, control, relief. For some people, saving is control. For others, spending is control. Control over a past that didn't feel stable. There's another pattern people don't notice. If you've never had money, you may overestimate what a small amount can fix. If I just had $1,000, things would feel better. And when it arrives, it does help. But only for a moment. Then it's gone. On the other side, if you've always had access to resources, you might underestimate what smaller amounts can build over time. Because individually they don't feel significant. So they get ignored. Both perspectives are slightly off. But they feel normal. And that's the key. Normal. Your version of normal was built before you had any control. Before you earned money. Before you made decisions. You absorbed it. The stress, the silence, the comfort, the lack. Now as an adult, money doesn't just show up. It activates something. You think you're reacting logically. Most of the time, you're reacting historically. There's something quiet that happens when you realize that. Not dramatic, just clarity. You're not bad with money. You're patterned. And patterns can be noticed. That doesn't mean becoming robotic. It just means understanding why the same 1,000 can feel life-changing to one person and forgettable to another. Because money isn't just numbers. It's memory. It's exposure. It's scale. And sometimes the biggest shift doesn't happen when you earn more. It happens when you stop and ask, why did I react that way? That's where things start to change.